Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something, a little bit late, but preparing you for the outdoors, and that is critters. Be right back with you. Okay, welcome back everybody, and this video right here is we're gonna talk about the different critters in the outdoors. Well, primarily two or three types of critters, but and actually from what my research has found is actually one of them is, well, both of them are actually the most dangerous critters you can meet in the outdoors. And we're not talking about bears and wolves and coyotes, wild dogs and skunks and snakes. We're talking about something much smaller that can do a whole lot worse to you. But before we get on with this, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, share with your friends and enemies, and leave a comment down below on what you think about all this. Anyway, the critters we're going to talk about, the first one is ticks, okay? It is well past tick season. As soon as it starts getting hot and humid, the ticks sort of show up. And we're going to talk about some variety of ticks. So these are primarily, we're going to talk about some ticks that are outside the United States and some within the United States. Okay. And before we get started on that, all the information that I'm talking to you about can be found on the CDC website, and I'll leave it down below in the remarks section so that you can click on it and go in there and read about this information. It's very important because I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a good friend of mine, and when I was in scouting, and he's doing a lot of hunting in Germany, and he has been battling with Lyme disease for many, many years, and it's almost killed him. And so it's really made his life painful and just uncomfortable, and so this is another reason that I advise you, because hunting season is not necessarily in the wintertime for different animals, this kind of stuff. So, and even if it is, there's still some that they're attached to the animals, this kind of stuff. But anyway, let's start talking about about these ticks. The first thing is, you have ticks go through a life sizing, life experience, life maturity. They mature the same as humans. They start off as little babies and they grow up, but their incubation period is much faster. I think we're done between 3 and 90 days or something like that. They're full grown, and they start off as little small larvae. And when I was growing up, we called those seed ticks. They were very fine, and they would get on you, especially if we're out in the garden working on the farm. You'd come back and you might have them covering your arms or covering your legs. So, and it was so hot in Louisiana, we tended to do a lot of that stuff out there barefooted, and with just a pair of shorts on growing up. So, but you got to be aware of that. And so, and we're going to talk about that a little bit further. We're going to just talk about this. First, you have the black-legged tick, and it has a larva, a very small seed type style. It has a nymph, which is a little bit bigger, an adult male, an adult female. The adult female is larger than the male, and like I said, you go on the CDC site, you can see pictures of these critters. The adult male, he's mostly dark brown with on his backside, a small band of light brown. And the female, she's half and half. She's half dark, and then her whole tail is all light brown. So this is one of the ticks that you can encounter on yourself or on your animals. The Lone Star tick, I guess that's pretty obvious right there, but it also has it also has a nymph, a larva and nymph, and a male and a female. The male, though, he has some tiger stripe forms on his body, and the female has just a very light spot on her body. Then you have the American dog tick, and it goes through the same cycles as a larva, nymph, adult, and a female. And the adult looks like he's almost like a camouflage. He's got dark and light squiggly lines all over him, and the female, she's mostly light at the top and dark at the bottom. Okay, so, and then when quite often when we find ticks, especially if they've been on animals, they've been there for a couple of days, they'll be quite big and round. Okay, and those are ticks that have just ingested so much blood that they've gotten to that size. And so it's important to prevent getting ticks on you. And how you do that? Well, one thing you can do is you can treat your clothing, okay? And you can do this in advance. You can take your clothing, lay it outside, put it outside on something, and you can spray it down with a good preventive medication or a product that's going to help prevent them. It's like any of them. I'm trying to remember the word here. If I'm trying to think of anyway, to help prevent it. It's like an anti-tick spray actually, and you can spray your clothing with this. And one of those is DEET. Another one is picaridin. If I'm spelling this, pronounce this word. Lemon oil, eucalyptus oil, and paramethane diol. That's a PMD, and or 2 undercarona. Now you got to remember something here. If you have a child that's under 3 years old, don't treat them with OLE or PMD. Don't treat them with that. That's it's not good for them. So you got to find something, the eucalyptus oil or the lemon oil. Now over here we'll see more natural products like lemon oil or citronelle, this kind of stuff. You'll see those products, and you can actually go out in the wild and find them, but you can also buy them and you can treat yourself with them. It's like it's either a spray or something like that you can put on your clothing, and then you can actually put it on yourself also. This is a natural product actually. Okay, so you another thing to help in prevention is be careful where you tread, where you go out. And if you're walking your dog, avoid tall grasses or very bushy areas because that makes it much more easier for the ticks to get on you, and then of course they'll latch themselves on you in a lot of very warm and probably more humid areas of your body. Okay, and some of like I said, just avoid those areas when you're hiking. Stay clear of tall bushes if you're walking through them. Well, if you have no choice, then you have no choice. Okay. Another product we used to use when I was in the Army, we'd use a product from Avon, which is called Skin So Soft. It smelled good, and we would spray our lower legs with Skin So Soft, and our socks and that kind. We'd spray it down, and that helped keep away ticks, and also even the mosquitoes and flies really didn't mess with you. None of the critters did. So just in prevention. Now, if you're in your yard, this kind of stuff, you can get some pesticides that you can spray around in your yard that help keep the ticks away, and keep your grass low. Keep your bushes trimmed, this kind of like that, and just be aware of that. A lot of people also, they water their lawns quite a bit too, and this helps also to help keep down because the moisture level is very high. So it helps keep down the ticks and a lot of other insects also. Okay, so you go out, you've done your daily hike with your dog, or you're walking your dog in the woods, this kind of stuff, because you have a nice trail behind you. When you get back home, a few things you should do. Number one, you should take your clothes off and check your clothes. Okay, check your bags, and what you can do is you can take your clothing and put it in the dryer, put it on a high heat for about 10 minutes, and this will kill off any of the critters that have gotten on your clothes. Also, get yourself in the shower, get yourself a nice hot shower very quickly, and then check your body. And have someone help you check if you need to. Check around your neck, your ears, in your hairline, check under your arms. Check your private areas and check your lower legs. Okay, and do the same for your animals. If you have a dog, you take your dog and you go through and you check him out, okay? Because the problem is that try to do this stuff outside. I would say the checking of the dog before they come in, because once they come in, ticks can fall off of. The same thing with your clothes. Take your clothes off, maybe an outside area, put them in the dryer immediately so they don't have them coming into the house, because they will get in the house, and then next thing they know, they're on your cat, or they're on your children, or they're back on you again. So just be aware of that, okay? Let's talk about if you find a tick, okay, how to remove it. Well, One thing that I would suggest is avoid all these home remedies. Okay, a lot of these things don't necessarily work because the thing is you want to do is you want to get the complete tick out off of you. Okay, and so take yourself a small pair of tweezers. Try to get as much as the head as possible off all the head and pull it straight out. Okay. There is one I saw which is really interesting where someone took some saliva and they spit on their finger and they rubbed the area where the tick was at. They kept rubbing it and the tick came off. That's not I mean, it works, okay? But just be aware that these don't necessarily happen. And if you, wherever the tick may have bitten you and ingested, you need to clean that area up with alcohol and then check the tick out. Look at the tick, see what it looks like, okay? Because if that's a spotted Rocky Mountain spotted fever tick, it's going to have spots on it. You might want to get checked out for that, okay? And then you also want to be aware that be aware of the symptoms for the different, like Lyme disease or other parasitic sicknesses that are out there. And I'll give you there's a list on the website, and anaplasmosis, ehrlichiosis, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, rickettsia, paucere, rickettsiosis. Man, some of these words, man, I tell you, I don't have enough tongue on me to read them. Anyway, there's a good healthy list in it. You can click on them. You can see the symptoms, this kind of stuff. But one of the ones that we worry about the most is going to be Lyme disease. And like I said, I know people who've gotten Lyme disease, and it's no fun thing. Okay, so let's talk about. There are lots of treatments, this kind of stuff like that you need to see your doctor about for Lyme disease, this kind of stuff like that, and it's no joke. It's a real, it could be, it's a serious thing to have to deal with. So you need to seek medical attention. If you suspect you have Lyme disease, look into it. And it's always a good deal to sort of educate yourself in advance, this kind of stuff, because there is a season for ticks. Okay, now you have ticks in North America, but you also have ticks outside of North America. If you're traveling abroad, this kind of stuff like that, and let's say you go up into the mountains to see the gorillas, this kind of stuff, you need to, when you get back, you need to also check yourself out just the same way, okay? And check your clothing out, make sure that you haven't trapped any kind of ticks, this kind of stuff. So just be aware of that. But anyway, like I said, I have the CDC's website. Check it out. It's very, very informative, very interesting, and you can look into it. And you can, and especially if you're going to travel abroad, this kind of stuff. A lot of us visit cities, this kind of stuff when we travel, but there's also chances to go out to the countryside, go on safari, go on tours, this kind of stuff. And these critters are going to be everywhere, okay? Now, in the United States, you primarily see certain varieties of them in the southern part where it's much warmer, much hotter, and you'll have a better chance of catching some ticks, but you can get ticks just about anywhere, so just be aware of that. Let's talk about mosquitoes, this kind of stuff. Now, mosquitoes also is another insect. Now, within the United States, you probably have less likely to get malaria from a mosquito, and I remember being treated for malaria, especially when I was in the Army. But you got to be aware also what the treatment can cause also. So look into that very well. But mosquitoes, avoid, they're going to be in the outdoors, okay, and they're going to, it's a really funny thing. I remember traveling back to Louisiana with my then wife and the kids, and they were getting eaten up by mosquitoes. And my dad would always stand next to my wife, in the woods or outdoors, because they wouldn't mess with him, they'd mess with her. So she was like a different kind of taste for them, and smell and odor. So I guess it sort of attracted them a little better. So be aware of that. You can spray yourself down, get you some good products that are out there. I have one here, and this is one that's here in Europe. It's an anti-brun. It's called anti-mosquito. It's a little small bottle like this right here, and you can buy this really inexpensively. And I have not had any problems with mosquitoes using that. I sprayed on my body. Now, also, I have some other products. I have a natural product that was made with the sap or the sap from the birch tree. Very strong smelling. It's very, very strong, but it's a little bit dark. And you put it on you, and it also it keeps the critters away from the mosquitoes, that kind of stuff. So just be aware that there are lots of products out there, including DEET. And I remember when in the Army, even our uniforms were treated for deployment we were about to go on to. and all of our uniforms were completely treated with this product before we did the invasion. Okay, so just be aware of that. You know, there are lots of products. You treat your clothing, and you can treat yourself with them. You know, and if you're going to wear your clothing over, you know, if you're going on a hiking trip or camping trip or a day out, you treat your clothing the night before or the day before and let it dry out, and then you wear it. It's going to help help you to avoid attracting these critters. You know, but you know, if you do have problems with mosquitoes, one of the treatments that I have seen is that you take a hot spoon and you put it on the bite, and it will actually keep it from, it will actually kill the poison in it, but also it will keep it from itching, you know. So you don't want to itch these places, you know, because they'll open up very quickly, and then you have another situation to deal with. Okay, flies. Flies, another big thing, you know, and they're seeking moisture on your body. They will just, oh, they're terrible, okay? And where I live out here, I'm smelling from the outdoor some smoke. I think someone is, I don't know if they're grilling, whatever, but it's a little bit harsh on my nose here. I have a little bit sensitive system, but if you're out near farming land like I am, there's lots of flies in the area, and they can be a super nuisance. So just be aware of that. But the flies don't tend to want to hang out in the shade. They tend to be more interested in the sun. So I don't know why that is, but that's where they tend to be. So one thing, you can see lots of flies in the forest, and they'll be sitting on all the plants, this kind of like that. And then if you're in the sun, they'll maybe mess with you. But if you're not, they won't mess with you too much. So just be aware of that. You can get nets for mosquitoes and for flies also to put on your head if you're out camping or hiking, whatever, and you have a lot of flies, and keep them up off your eyes and your mouth, and nose, kind of stuff. But also be aware that, you know, if you have any kind of food, they're going to quickly get on there, and they're going to lay their eggs, and they're going to you know, infect your food. So just be aware of that. Okay, what flies can do. They're very quick, and they can just really infiltrate your food very, very quickly there or around it. You know, they'll lay their eggs around the lid if it's not clean. So if you put something inside of a pot, you know, for a day trip like that, or inside of a Tupperware thing, clean it off really well on the outside, because it will still attract the flies. Okay, and be aware of your garbage, this kind of stuff. But that's it. That's it. Just remember what flies do. They land on something else, they eat a bunch of it, and then they get on you and they leave a bunch of it. So just be aware of that. That's pretty nasty, just the whole thought of it. Anyway, that's about it. Now, I know there are lots of other critters out there that can be a bit of a pain in the backside, midgets, mites, all this kind of stuff like that. But, you know, a lot of these things can be treated with, very similar to flies and ticks and mosquitoes. Just be aware of that. So another reason why I don't camp so much in the summertime. I camp mostly in the fall, the winter, and even early spring. I don't camp as much, because sometimes I do, depends. But it's really the earliest part, because I just want to avoid all the insects that are out there, because they really, you know, they can really mess up a good camp out, you know. And no matter what altitude you're at, there are going to be flies. It's just the way it is. I don't know why. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. And look, I appreciate if you give me some comments down below. I know we all live in different areas. I'm living in Switzerland. I'm not living where you're at, so it's a little bit different here and how we deal with it here. But I know that, you know, growing up in the States, you know, I didn't have so many mosquitoes here as I did in the States. We had loads of mosquitoes, but if there's a lot of wet land, of course, you're going to have more mosquitoes, this kind of stuff. So just be aware of that. But anyway, tell me what you think about the video. Leave a comment down below. I want to hear what you got to say. How you avoid the bugs, and how you know, what do you know about it? Well, you know, for treatment, this kind of stuff like that. And some of those home remedies, you never know, they may work. Anyway, like I said, I'll leave the information down below for the CDC. And have a look at it. Educate yourself a little bit, and let me know what you think. And listen, I'll look forward to hearing from you. And again, please subscribe to my channel, share with your friends and enemies, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and I'll talk to you very soon. Take care of yourselves, and have a good, pleasant day. Goodbye.